Be honest. Does this happen to you too? That you start something with a lot of excitement? I mean, with full motivation. You make plans, write down goals, your mind is clear about what you want to do. And in that moment it really feels like, this time I'm going to change. The first day goes well. The second day still has some momentum. But by the third or fourth day, things slowly start to fall apart. You think, I'll just rest a little today. Then you say, I'll start properly from tomorrow. And that tomorrow, you don't even realize when it starts repeating again and again. Slowly the work gets delayed. Your focus breaks. And you fall back into the same routine you were trying to escape. And you know what the strangest part is? You know exactly what you're supposed to do. You know which tasks are important. You even know that if you stay disciplined today, your future will be better. And still, you don't do it. You try to explain it to yourself. Sometimes you try to motivate yourself. But from inside, there's this resistance that stops you. And slowly, it becomes a pattern. You start, then you quit, then you feel guilty, then you promise yourself, and then the same cycle repeats. Sometimes it even feels like you're losing to yourself. No one outside is stopping you. No one is forcing you to fail. But still, you can't move forward. And that's when a question slowly settles in your mind. What exactly am I doing wrong? You look at others, who are consistent, who are growing, and you start comparing yourself. They can do it, why can't I? Then you start judging yourself. Maybe I'm not disciplined. Maybe I'm just lazy. Maybe I don't have what it takes. And these thoughts slowly start eating away at your confidence. You don't stop trying, but you stop believing. Now you don't work because you want to. You work because you feel guilty. And honestly, that feeling is heavy. From the outside, everything looks normal. But inside, you know you're living far below your potential. You have the capability. You can do something big. But somehow you're stuck. Like there's an invisible wall that just won't let you move forward. And maybe you're still thinking, why is this happening to me? Slowly this stops being just a habit. Starts becoming your identity. Earlier you used to say, I'm not able to stay disciplined. But now you start thinking, maybe I'm just not a disciplined person. And that's the most dangerous point. Because now the problem isn't outside. It's inside your thinking. You start doubting even small decisions. Will I be able to do this? Will I quit again? Can I really change? And every time you start and then quit, your trust in yourself drops a little more. Slowly you stop making commitments to yourself. Because deep down, you know, I'm going to break them anyway. And this feeling is very silent. On the outside, everything keeps going. People are laughing, talking, working. But inside, there's a constant frustration. You're upset with yourself. But you can't tell anyone. Sometimes the overthinking gets so intense that you don't even start anything. What if I fail again? What if I can't stay consistent again? And this thought stops you before you even take action. Now the problem isn't just that you're not consistent. The problem is that you're scared to try. And that's where life starts to slow down. You have ideas. You have plans. You even have dreams. But they all stay in your mind. Nothing changes in real life. And one day you look back and think, how did I waste so much time? And that realization is heavy. You feel like you held yourself back. No one else. And honestly, that guilt hurts the most. 'Cause you know, you could have done better. You have potential, but you're not using it. And slowly, that starts making you feel empty inside. Now you're not excited before starting something. You're afraid. Not just of failure, but of your own pattern. That, I'll do the same thing again. And when this loop repeats again and again, there comes a point where you stop expecting anything from yourself. You start compromising. Whatever I'm doing is fine. Maybe life is just like this. But somewhere deep inside, you know, this is not the life you wanted to live. And maybe you're still at that point where you want to change, but you don't understand where to begin. And this is where the most dangerous thing begins. Confusion. Because now you don't even understand where you're going wrong. Tried again and again, but didn't get results. So your mind starts looking for reasons on its own. Maybe I don't have the right resources. Maybe my environment isn't right. Maybe I didn't get proper guidance. And honestly, these things can feel true to some extent. But somewhere deep inside, you know this isn't the full truth. Because you've also seen people who moved forward with fewer resources than you. So what's the real problem? This is where your mind gets even more tangled. You open YouTube, watch one video, it gives you motivation. Another video says, build discipline. A third one says, change your mindset. A fourth says, follow a routine. And you start thinking, what's actually right? Everyone is saying something different. And you start trying everything. One day you wake up early. The next day you journal. The third day you make a new plan. But consistency never builds. Why? Because you're not following a system. You're just copying random things. And that's the biggest problem. You're searching for answers outside, while the confusion is inside. You feel like you need more information. But the truth is, you're already overloaded. You've consumed so much content that taking action has become even harder. Before you start anything, 10 voices show up in your head. Is this right or that? What if this doesn't work? What if I go in the wrong direction? And that overthinking stops you. Now you get tired before you even take action. And slowly you fall into a dangerous loop. Consume, confuse, delay, regret. Then the same cycle. The same guilt. The same promise. And the same breakdown. And you know what's the most frustrating part? You genuinely want to change. You're not fake. You are trying. But you just don't understand where to start. You think, should I work on discipline? Or mindset? Or habits? Or goal setting? And all these questions together freeze you. Now you're not doing the wrong things. But you're not able to do the right things either. You're just stuck in the middle. And this stuck feeling is the most dangerous. Because slowly, it turns you average. You still dream. But you stop fighting for those dreams. And maybe you're still in that phase where you want to change, but don't have clarity on what the right path is. And the truth is, your problem is not that you don't work hard. Your problem is not that you're not capable. The real problem is something else. Something most people never understand. Your system is wrong. Yes, it sounds simple. But this changes the whole game. You thought you needed more motivation, more discipline, more information. But the truth is, you already know enough. You know what's right, what's wrong, what you should do. And still you don't do it. Why? Because your operating system isn't clear. You're living randomly. Sometimes based on motivation. Sometimes based on mood. Sometimes based on pressure. But not based on principles. And when life isn't based on principles, consistency is impossible. This is where most people go wrong. They think changing habits will change their life. But it actually works the other way around. First your thinking changes. Then your habits change. Then your results change. If the foundation is weak, anything you build on top will fall. And that's exactly what's been happening to you. You're trying to change from the surface. But nothing inside is being fixed. And this exact problem is solved by a powerful concept, explained in the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. What makes this book different is, it doesn't teach you what to do. It teaches you how to think. And the moment your thinking becomes clear, your decisions start becoming clear on their own. You don't need constant motivation anymore. You don't need someone to push you. Because now you're not living randomly. You're living consciously. And that's where the real shift happens. For the first time you realize, I'm not the problem. My approach was. And that realization is powerful. Because now you don't need to blame yourself. Now you have direction. Now you know where you need to work. And most importantly, You understand that to change your life, you don't need random action. You need the right system. And the moment you understand this, confusion starts fading. Overthinking starts reducing. And for the first time, you feel clarity from within, like a puzzle has finally been solved. And maybe this is exactly what you're feeling right now. That the problem was never outside. It was always inside. And now, finally, you can see it. Now the question is no longer what the problem is. The question is, how do you fix it? 'Cause the truth is, just understanding doesn't change your life. Until your actions change, your results won't change. But here's the biggest mistake people make. They try to change everything at once. A new routine, new habits, new planning, and then 3 days later the same old pattern. So the approach needs to be simple, but it needs to be right. And this is where a concept comes in. Explained in the form of habits in the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Don't overcomplicate it. Think of it like resetting the rules of your life. The first thing, take responsibility. This doesn't mean problems don't exist in the world. But in every situation, ask yourself, what can I control? As long as you keep blaming, you won't have any power. The day you accept that the direction of my life is in my hands, that's when change begins. The second thing, stop working without direction. You can stay busy all day, but if you don't know where you're going, you're just moving in circles. So before any action, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Where is this taking me? If the answer isn't clear, that task isn't important. Simple. The third and most powerful thing, learn to put what's important first. Most of the time, what do? We do what's easy first. We get stuck in what's urgent. And what's actually important keeps getting postponed. That's where life starts falling apart. If you want change, then every day choose just one task that actually moves your life forward. Just one. And complete it no matter what. Now understand this carefully. This is not motivation. This is a system. If you do these 3 things daily, you don't blame. You stay clear on direction. You do what matters first. Then slowly your habits start changing on their own. You won't need to force yourself. You'll naturally become more disciplined. And here's the interesting part. Results don't change first. You change first. Your way of thinking changes. Your decisions change. And then, slowly your life. So don't put pressure on yourself. I have to change everything today. Just do this. Start living consciously from today. Think before every decision. Understand the reason behind every action. And slowly, you'll start to feel it yourself. You're not the same person anymore. If you've made it this far, then honestly, you're very close to change. Now you just need consistent steps in the right direction. And real transformation begins here. Not on the day you make a new plan. Not on the day you feel highly motivated. But on the day you quietly decide, I'm going to live differently now. No noise, no excitement, just a simple decision. And honestly, that's the most powerful thing. At the beginning, nothing dramatic will happen. No instant results. No big visible change. But something inside you starts shifting. Where you used to react to everything, now you pause, you think. Where you used to delay your work, now you ask yourself, is this the thing that will move me forward? And many times the answer is yes. So you do it, whether you feel like it or not. That's where the game changes. Because now you're not acting based on mood. You're acting based on decision. Before you used to wait for motivation. Now you take action. Before you used to lose to yourself. Now you start winning against yourself. In small moments. And those small moments slowly build a new identity. Now you're not the person who quits every time. You're becoming the person who completes at least one thing every day. At first it will feel difficult. Your mind will keep saying, don't do it today. We'll do it tomorrow. Why are you putting so much pressure on yourself? But this time the difference is, you hear that voice. but you don't follow it. And that's where confidence starts building. Not from big achievements, but from one simple truth. I did what I said I would do. For the first time, you start trusting yourself. Slowly. Now you don't compare yourself to others. You just focus on improving yourself. Better than yesterday. Better tomorrow than today. That's it. And the best part, you don't need constant motivation anymore. 'Cause now you have clarity. You know what you're doing and why you're doing it. That's where a silent shift happens. You're no longer pushing life. You're directing it. And that difference is huge. Slowly results start showing too. Small wins, but real ones. Now you don't just think. You act. And maybe for the first time, you feel it from within. Yes, things can change now. No magic happened. No shortcut appeared. You just changed your approach. And that is the turning point. From here you can either go back to your old pattern or move forward. And if you've reached this point, then honestly, you're already different from who you were before. And here's something you need to understand very clearly. This is not a shortcut. This is not some trick that will completely change you in 2 or 3 days. If that's what you're expecting, then honestly this approach isn't for you. Because the truth is a little uncomfortable. Real change is slow. But once it happens, last. Look, the problem was never that you weren't trying. You were trying. But every time you wanted quick results. And when you didn't see them, you gave up. That's the cycle that kept pulling you back. This time the approach has to be different. This time don't tell yourself, I'll become perfect from tomorrow. Instead say, I'll become a little better today. That's it. Because life doesn't change overnight. Takes shape gradually. With every small decision. With every small action. You make one right decision today. Another tomorrow. And slowly, those decisions come together to form your identity. And this is where most people lose. 'Cause they find this process boring. No excitement. No instant reward. Just daily effort. But if you stay here, you'll move ahead of 90% of people who start, but never finish. Now understand one thing carefully. You don't need to force yourself. You need to understand yourself. Because once you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, discipline becomes natural. Now you're not fighting yourself. You're working with yourself. And that's the biggest difference. Earlier you saw change as pressure. Now you see it as a process. Earlier you wanted to win quickly. Now you want to win the right way. And honestly, this mindset makes you unbeatable in the long run. Because now you're not afraid of failing. You learn from it. But you don't stop. And slowly, you start to realize, this isn't just a game of habits. This is a way of looking at life. Now you start seeing everything differently. Your work, your time, your relationships, everything. And maybe for the first time, you understand. Success isn't a destination. It's a daily process. And if you accept that process, then honestly, no one can stop you. Because now you're not chasing shortcuts. You're following a system. And this is the point where real growth begins. Up to now, you've understood what the problem was. And the direction in which you need to change. But now the most important question. How do you start? Because if your beginning isn't clear, you'll fall back into the same old loop. So don't make this complicated. Keep it simple. But take it seriously. The first step. Choose just one important task every day. Yes, just one. You don't need to write 10 tasks. Because the truth is, you won't complete most of them anyway. But if you complete one meaningful task, it will move your life forward. As soon as you wake up, ask yourself, what is the one thing I can do today that will improve my life? And then, complete it no matter what. Whether you feel like it or not. The second step. Stop blaming. It's not easy, but it's the most powerful shift. If something goes wrong, don't immediately think, it happened because of them. I didn't have time. The situation wasn't right. Just ask one question. What can I learn from this? This small shift moves you from being a victim to being in control. The third step. Be clear about your why before every action. Whatever you're doing, you should know the reason behind it. If you're studying, why? If you're working, why? If you can't answer that, then that task isn't important. Simple. Now one small thing. Reading these steps and feeling good is one thing. Following them daily is another. In the beginning, you'll forget. You'll skip. You'll fall back into old patterns. And that's normal. But the difference is, this time you don't stop. You start again the next day. No drama. No guilt. Just back on track. Slowly, these steps become your habit. And once that happens, you don't need to push yourself anymore. You start making the right decisions automatically. And that's when real change becomes visible. Now you're not living randomly. You're living consciously. A little better every day. A little more focused. A little more disciplined. Now you need less motivation. Because you have a system. And a system is always stronger than motivation. So from today, don't try to become perfect. Just do one right thing. Make one right decision. And repeat it. And believe this. If you follow this simple system honestly, slowly you'll see it yourself. You're not the same person anymore that you used to be. Now imagine, you actually start following all of this seriously. Not perfectly, just honestly. What happens then? In the beginning, you might not see any big changes. Same routine, same people, same environment. But inside, something slowly starts to shift. Where you used to delay everything, now you at least complete one task. Maybe small, but it's done. And those small wins start making you stronger from within. Before, the promises you made to yourself, you used to break them. Now, for the first time, you start trusting yourself. And that feeling is powerful. Slowly, your confidence starts coming back. Not from big achievements, but from one simple truth. I did what I said I would do. Now you judge yourself less. And understand yourself more. Why do I do this? How can I improve it? Now you're not working against yourself. You're working with yourself. And this is where the biggest change happens. Your identity starts shifting. Before you used to think, I'm lazy. I'm not consistent. Now you start thinking, I'm improving. I'm getting better every day. And the moment your identity changes, your actions start changing automatically. Now you don't have to force yourself. You naturally start doing the things that move you forward. Slowly, results begin to show too. Tasks start getting completed. Time wasting reduces. And most importantly, you start gaining clarity. You're no longer confused. You know what you're doing and why you're doing it. And that clarity sets you apart from others. While others are still thinking, you're taking action. And honestly, this is not overnight success. This is silent growth. No one may notice it in the beginning, but you will feel it. You'll start realizing, I'm not the same anymore. I handle things differently now. And that is the real win. Not money, not fame, but control over yourself. Now you're not driven by situations. You're driven by your decisions. And when you reach this level, honestly, success becomes just a matter of time. 'Cause now, you're not someone who stops. You'll fall, but you'll get back up. You'll get tired, but you won't quit. And maybe for the first time, you'll feel it from within. Yes, I can actually change my life. In the end, it's very simple. Your life doesn't change from one big decision. Changes through small daily decisions. What you choose every day. To work or delay. To focus or get distracted. To take responsibility or blame. All of this comes together to shape your life. And the truth is, no one is coming to save you. There won't be a moment where everything suddenly becomes perfect. You have to start. Even if it's slow, has to be you. Now you have two choices. First, you listen to all this. Feel a little motivated. And then forget everything in 2 or 3 days. And honestly, that's what most people do. Second, you decide today. Even if it's slow, I will change. No pressure. No unrealistic expectations. Just one commitment. I will become a little better every day. And believe this. If you take this one line seriously, nothing can stop you. You won't become perfect. You will fail sometimes. But this time the difference is, you won't stop. And that's what separates average people from successful ones. Now it comes down to action. Because without action, all of this will just remain words. So right now, in this moment, make a simple promise to yourself. From today, I will start one right habit. Just one. Not 10 goals. Not over-planning. Just one step. And if you're truly serious, save this video. Because in the coming days, you'll need this reminder. When you don't feel like doing it, when you start slipping back into old patterns, this video will remind you why you started. And if you feel someone else needs to hear this, share it. 'Cause honestly, a lot of people are stuck in this same struggle. And remember, your problem was never that you're weak. Your problem was that you didn't have a system. Now you have direction. Now you have clarity. Now only action is left. So don't wait. The perfect moment will never come. Start today. Start now. And slowly, you'll see it yourself. You're not the same person anymore. And if you truly felt this line, then it's clear. You want to change. You just didn't have the right direction before. So don't let it end here. Let's take one small step right now. Go ahead and write in the comments. I will change. Nothing fancy. No show off. Just a simple commitment. Because when you write it, you're not telling others. You're telling yourself that now you're serious. And yes, save this video. Right now you feel motivated. But in a few days you might not. That's when this video will bring you back on track. And if you truly want to improve your life, subscribe to the channel. Because here you won't just get motivation. You'll get a system that works. Now the decision is yours. Repeat the same loop again. Or actually change this time. If not today, then never.